Everyone, I need to delete the one that I'd scheduled as predicted. So bear with me while I do that because I can't have two of the same live streams being on my channel. So I need to go into YouTube Studio. Oh, goodness me. YouTube Studio, content, live, and get rid of the scheduled one. Delete forever. In the bin you go. Back to the live stream, and there's no one here. Wonderful. So to all the masses of people watching this as a recording, I'm sorry that the first 50 seconds are so boring. Unless people turn up, then the next few minutes, dare I say hours, will be just as boring. Put my specs up. Hello, M. Vance. Found it. Hello. Hi, Russell. Yeah, Russell, I've had to do, well, both of you have had to do the same as what I've done before. So here we are. But no worries, you're both here. Hopefully Scott will join us as well. How frustrating, but here we are. I'm not going to whine about it like I've done before. I hope you're both well. I'm just, I don't know why am I cranking the volume? Can you hear me? Pull it together. Zoom. Can you hear me? Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Russell. So tell me something nice. Thank you, Tom Tom. Tell me nice things, or tell me your woes. Safe space. We're just having a chat. Because if people don't put anything in the chat, then I'll just blurt out whatever's in my mind. Although that's probably the content that you're here for. The randomness up there. Although I have to say, having started this live stream, I'm not feeling very inspired at this precise moment, otherwise known as now. So you're going to have to help me out, guys. There's 5 people here. So tell me nice things or tell me your woes. Otherwise, I might have to start reading poetry or pretending that I've read Chomsky. I'm happy today's local. Politics was going to come up, unprompted or not, because we've just had elections in the UK. That's if you're not in the UK, we've just had county council elections, and I would probably have mentioned them anyway. But Russell's got us started. We haven't gone reform. May I ask Russell who your representative, which party they belong to? Autistics can't do poetry, apparently, according to some very powerful politician in the US. Yeah. But of course we can write poetry. I think in poetry because I'm just amazing. I'm autistic. I don't just write it, I think in it. Doing the dishes, I'm just thinking in limericks and haikus because that's I've got a unique brain. Let's celebrate my unique brain. Let's celebrate yours. But you're going to have to reveal more of your brains by putting something in the chat. Hi, Scott. Yeah, sorry about the faff. We're here now. So I don't think you used the word faff in Minnesota. Yeah, slight inconvenience of having to set this up again. You've gone Labour from Con. That's probably really rare, isn't it, Russell, in the UK? I've not pored over the election results, but from Conservative to Labour in these circumstances, I'd say that's quite unusual. Thank you, Scott. You like the last poetry live stream? Yeah, it was a weird one. I felt like I was exhausting everyone. I felt exhausted anyway. Yeah, maybe I should read other people's poetry. I'm thinking of doing well, Paul at Adult with Autism suggested that I do a poetry channel within a Patreon. I've set up a Patreon. There's no content there. But he suggested that I do like a poetry corner, but on Patreon. Um, I'm not sure there's a huge demand for that, but I'll keep thinking about it for the time being. Mark, 6 minutes late. Yeah, come on now. Depressing myself by catching up the latest political news. Yeah, yeah, Mark, we were just talking about it, and Russell's got us going with that, which is fine because I would have talked about politics anyway. It's very easy to be depressed about politics in the UK right now because we're drifting towards fascism. And it's as simple as that, really. I think the general election's scheduled for 2029. That would make sense because we had one last year and it's usually every 5 years. A lot can happen, obviously, between now and 2029. But if the momentum carries on as it is, that makes sense. Then we're looking at an extreme right-wing government in the UK. But it's all to play for. We've got to be optimistic. It's not a fait accompli. There's a lot of distressed, angry people on the left as well as the right. So we need to not lapse into the People's Front of Judea and Judean People's Front splintered left-wing mess that we're so used to. We need to unite for a change. And whether that's under a Green Party banner or a new party entirely, I don't know. I'm up for new ideas at the moment. I'm not tearing up my Green Party membership. Don't misquote me. I'm still in the Green Party, but we've got to form alliances in some guys. You can't. I mean, I'm talking party politics, but the alliances in local communities. If you have a common ground, I mean, the common ground should be that fascists are on the rise. That's the common ground, and we need to stop them. So yeah, interesting times. Um, yeah, and I had a comment on Facebook or read a comment on Facebook, or all these lefties misusing the word fascism, and take the point that the word fascist is used as a lazy insult by people who don't know what the word means, because it sounds quite an aggressive word. Because yeah, it's an aggressive concept. The word fascist, that just sounds to me in my mouth sounds like an appropriately harsh word. And people, I think, use it as a generic insult if for to ridicule people that they don't agree with. No, I'm using the word fascism as in what we saw in the 30s, 40s. Yeah, it's as serious as that. It's not just a silly insult. It's no, this is their political program. Look it up. I don't want that program. I don't want rampant inequality and brutality based on people being different to whether if you're not white, if you're not able-bodied, if you're not rich, then look out. Russell, our area was traditionally calm, but last year went Labour and general election. Okay, yeah, makes sense. So they've carried on their momentum in isolation. Hey, Arlene, um, just catch up on Russell's comment. A Labour MP obviously put in some local legwork. He turned up on your doorstep. Well, that's impressive. The MP for your constituency. I want to, if you want to share, then please do. If you don't worry, because obviously got to be careful of letting on too much personal information. But if you want to, maybe what was a county election, so that's not being too specific. If you want to name the county that you live in, but no, the fact that your Labour MP turned up on your own doorstep is pretty impressive. My MP is absolutely hopeless. Labour MP, absolutely hopeless. I used to work with him on the council, and he was all right giving speeches, but He never replies to my messages, not replied to any of my messages about Gaza. Um, just hopeless, unaccountable. Yeah. And hard right in Canada. Well, all I know about Canadian politics right now is you've got that Mark person. I keep getting him mixed up with the MP for Wyre Forest in the UK. It's not Mark Garnier, Mark Carney, who used to be the governor of the Bank of England. That's all I know about Canadian politics, and the fact that Justin Trudeau's not Prime Minister anymore. So I'm shamefully ignorant. Although, really, if I knew a lot about Canadian politics, that would be quite odd and possibly, dare I say, quite autistic, to know so much about the politics of a country that I don't live in. So, Arlene, you're gonna have to educate me. It's all on you, Arlene. You're gonna have to tell me all about it. Sienna Price is in the room, but not just Sienna Price, the sensational Sienna Price. So please, can we use so I don't like this herd mentality. I'm autistic. You do you. But can I, on this occasion, insist that you all use the emoji thing at the bottom to give a whoop to Sienna, the sensational Sienna Price, who is unfortunately bummed out. Let's throw away. But you're here, and you've called yourself the sensational Sienna Price, which I love, clearly. So I hope you're well. Other than that, heed my demands. Hello again. Yeah, give Sienna lots of love. Um, Chris Hinchcliffe from Northeast Hertfordshire. Okay, cheers, Russell. Never heard of him, but then I suppose why would I if he's a backbencher? Um, so I suppose it's quite heartening. I can't believe I'm really saying this, but the Labour Party taking a seat from the Conservatives. It's quite heartening given the reform fascist momentum that we're seeing at the moment, which is largely down to the Labour Party for not, you know, meeting the demands, desires of the working class, middle class. Just savage cuts and bowing down to the super rich, the Labour Party. You know, I went to the People's History Museum in Manchester a year and a half ago, October 2023. God, time flies. If you're in the UK, or even if you're not in the UK, get on a plane specifically. I shouldn't be saying that as a Green Party politician, but anyway, go to the People's History Museum in Manchester. It's wonderful. Um, it's so good, and I might have mentioned it in a live stream before. I think I remember vaguely telling someone, you guys, I don't know, that my kids dressed up as Victorians, and they wore like the top hats. And while they were doing that, and generally, other than that, being quite bored, I was fascinated by all these huge displays of demonstrations over the years, mainly in the 20th century in the UK. You know, trade union strikes, suffragette movement, and the formation of the Labour Party. And the clue's in the title. It's called Labour Party. It is a sort of conglomeration of trade unions. And in 1900, the Labour Party was formed. I think it was the previous iterations of the Labour Party, but the Labour Party, I was going to say, as we know it today, well, it's completely changed, isn't it? That's the point I'm trying to make. So, but the Labour Party, 1900, and it was, you know, the trade unions uniting, people uniting, and it's 125 years. 125 years later, it's unrecognizable. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think Keir Starmer is named after Keir Hardie, and Keir Hardie is like ultra left. Like, it just they're poles apart. So he's sullying the name Keir. Is Sir Keir Starmer, allegedly a human rights lawyer who's content to excuse and facilitate a genocide. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's all I think about. Saying it out loud just makes it seem more unreal. I don't know. I'm a lot of fun today, aren't I? 15 minutes in, I've not done any dad jokes yet. Come on, Neil. Dad jokes. Don't want to be depressing. People are already depressed. I'll try to lighten the mood. I will try. Um, Let me catch up on the chat. Mark, I think people are just so disillusioned, let down Labour, they're not of favour of what's behind reform. Yeah, I did say I'd lighten up. I will lighten up. So outside the polling station on Thursday with my green rosette, um, a couple of elderly women came out for a cigarette. No, I wasn't smoking. I was there with my rosette and just saying hello to people as they went in to vote. And it was really, really warm on Thursday in the UK, and I was sort of sweltering as I was sitting on this low wall, and these two women sat down, and I just said hello, and I think they were there for sort of coffee and cake in the venue, and one of them came out of nowhere, said, "Oh, I should stop the boats," like, as in stop the boats coming from France to the UK with illegal immigrants. And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 what's going on?" And then the other woman said, or just nodded and went, and then out of nowhere, she said, "Oh yeah, Margaret Thatcher was the best prime minister." Now, if you've been to one of my live streams before, you know that Margaret Thatcher has pride of place on a dartboard in my house. Yeah. When I wake up, I scratch my head, 100 anxious thoughts swirl around. I dread the next 12 hours, especially if I have to go to work and have to mask all day. And I get a dart and I pop it onto the dartboard and see where it lands. And often that is the high point of my day. Yeah. So for someone to say, "Oh yeah, Margaret Thatcher, best prime minister we've ever had," she is the source of the problems that we're looking at now. Um, a working class woman saying, "Yeah, she was great." What are you talking about? There's no houses for people to buy to get on the housing ladder, just to buy a house, because Thatcher sold off the council housing. The economy is rigged in favour of landlords and shareholders, and it's not looking good for my kids and many other people's kids because of Thatcher. And Farage, Nigel Hunt, um, is like a Thatcher fanboy, and unashamedly so. And like yesterday said, "Oh, we're going to get rid of uh, climate change initiatives, diversity officers." Basically, the entire opposite of everything that I want and many other people want. He just got on that platform, literally stood at the lectern and went, "I'm going to do these dreadful things," or I want to see these dreadful things happen." And he's an extension of Thatcher. Um, but people, I mean, maybe that old woman, that elderly woman, had made that link. I doubt it. I think plenty of people are just so they're finding life so difficult that they're willing to look for any clear solution that simplifies the complexity of the world. They don't want to think about things deeply. They just want to hear someone give a simple message and go, "Well, they sound like they've got a plan, so I'll vote for them." Um, and it's terrifying. The lack of thought, um, and politicians like Farage shamelessly exploiting people's worst prejudices. Um, and they're not even national elections. What happened on Thursday, Friday? They're county elections. So that people, those county councillors, reform county councillors, they don't even have. How are you going to? I live in the Midlands, and people are saying stop the boats. By definition, we're landlocked. There are no boats coming to the Midlands. Funny and true. I will lighten up. Um, Chris Hinchman, got my notepad here. I will write that down. Lily, it's true of all of them now. If you're not rich or you're disabled or different, you will not be looked after. Nailed it. If these unpleasant characters carry on winning elections and get the numbers, but not on my watch. I'm autistic. I speak out, and lots of non-autistic people are speaking out. So do not lose hope. Carney, yeah, thought so. Reform talking about ending DEI, yeah, and DEI isn't even a thing in England. That DEI has been imported. Quite ironic, really. Got a fly in my room. Farage has imported that language from the US. That foreign muck. It's EDI over here. Equality, diversity, and inclusion. He says, being on a disability network committee at work. So it's so transparent. You can see that Farage and Reform are just aping Trump. And yeah, it is terrifying, but we're going to stop them. Yeah, and the Reform Limited. I mentioned shareholders. So I'm a member of a political party, and anyone can join for a fiver. Or I think some people can join for free if you haven't got any money. You should know that. But the Reform Party is Reform Limited, so it exists to benefit people who own shares. I don't know how that's even allowed. A business being a political party. So at the core of it is money. But people that aren't told that, and Farage doesn't declare that. Only political nerds like me would, sorry, and Harriet, sorry, you can speak for yourself. Not nerds. Politically engaged people know that Reform are a limited company, and they know that that doesn't sit right in a democracy. Yeah. Mark Carney, not a bad guy, economics, but yeah, one of the first things to provide universal dental care. Good start. Good to know. Oh, and I saw Mark Carney, sorry, trigger warning. Yeah, I heard about the awful events in Vancouver. And yeah, he was right there. Oh, goodness me. So yeah, maybe I need to learn more about Mark Carney. I got a sensational Sienna Prize because Hunter from Imagination Lives calls me that a lot. Imagination Lives? Is that a YouTube channel? I'm missing out. This is why I've got my notepad or my diary. Imagination Lives. Cool. Well, Sienna, we're going to have to all call you that from now on, although, if I may confess, it's a bit of a mouthful. The sensational Sienna Price. What would mine be? The nihilistically miserable Neil. I can insist that my colleagues, I was going to say friends, then you're my friends, and family address me as the nihilistically miserable Neil. Well, it's not alliterative completely, is it? The nihilistic. Come on, people, think of another adjective beginning with N. Well, even nihilistic Neil's quite a mouthful, isn't it? You can just call me Neil. Other four-letter words will do. I'm used to it. I've had 43 years of being referred to as four-letter words. And that is a joke that I will always keep sharing because it amuses me, even if it doesn't amuse you. Here's a question, Neil. Should you separate local politics? Should you vote for a party you inherently disagree with, but locally the best option? Well, first question, should you separate local and national politics? Well, you can't separate them because, well, how could you? Because everything's connected politically. What goes on? Yeah, under the current structure, clearly everything's connected because the government gets elected and then they have a lot of oversight and control over local councils. So what you're saying that so it should be like a federal system, like in the US, where you have a national government, but federal states can set their own federal laws. Is that correct? So a move to a US system where each county or each state has autonomy. But even under that system, it's still connected to the White House. Well, what goes on in Washington? Good question, Mark, and I've just completely given you a rubbish answer. Um, but I think they're always going to be connected somehow. So I don't think it's entirely possible. Should you vote for a party you inherently disagree, but locally are the best option? That gets asked a lot. I think. Should you vote for a reform council candidate, but they might be incredibly hardworking? No, they're a fascist. Well, they're extremely likely to be very right-wing slash fascist. They might have been hoodwinked into joining the Reform Party or Reform Limited because they've been convinced that reform is just you know, about looking after their own their own nation from a positive British pride point of view, um, not taking into account the negative side of that. Well, I wouldn't vote for that person, even if they say, "Oh, I'm not a fascist, I'm here just to look after people. I'm really hardworking," and I could see that they're hardworking. I'll be like, "No, you've made your pact with the devil. If I vote for you, then I'm helping to facilitate um, the fascists getting into power." But it's a really good question because people say, "Oh, I don't want to vote Conservative because they're the Conservative Party," but the councillor is or the candidate's a really hardworking, nice person. And I've met loads of really nice Tory councillors or members. I've met some horrible ones as well. So they're really good questions, Mark, and I'm giving you dreadful answers. But hopefully you can glean some sort of sense from what I've said. Um, Let me catch up. Um, Jane, hello, Jane. My constituency is the catchily named Reading West and Mid Berkshire, with a Labour MP called Olivia Bailey. Emailed her recently about trans rights, not heard back. Who voted Green? Cheers, Jane, for voting Green. Not that that would affect me as such because it's in a different constituency. Um, but yeah, it all helps. So that's sounds incredibly patronising. Labour MP Olivia Bent, never heard of her. Reading West and Mid Berkshire. I have to check her out. I mean, you've got the 400 Labour MPs, I think, or over 400. It's mad, isn't it? Because they're so unpopular. Um, I can't see Starmer lasting more than a year. It's all up for grabs, isn't it? Um, Hunter's such an ability to make everyone feel special in a particular way, being themselves. Who is this Hunter? Is this Hunter Hansen? Has he made a comeback? I do hope so. SNL, otherwise known as K, and you are sensational. I think that's directed at me. No, I'm nihilistic, but I'll take the praise anyway. Heed my demands. Am I following the Pope games? Nope. What are the Pope games? Jane, I also despaired about the current situation. Yeah, so I've just noticed the reflection. I really can't figure this out. You don't see my, yeah, you can see my beautiful blue eyes. Um, I can't see your words now. Um, yeah, don't despair. Easier said than done. Don't despair. It doesn't have to be this way. Um, we got rid of the fascists before. We'll get rid of them again. You know, I'd rather we'll nip it in the bud. We won't allow them to get to the top of the tree, which is just so frightening. It doesn't bear thinking about. But we'll deal with it. But we need to work together. Alliances, all the usual, times 10. Mark, I do admit to just defacing my paper, your ballot paper. Yeah. So I've seen some interesting ones over the years, like swastikas and willies, and very childish. I'm sure you didn't do that. I'm sure you just said none of the above. Very formal way of dismissing all their candidates. But I've seen some creative ways of saying that same thing, with the use of childish drawings, the sort of drawings you would see in a toilet cubicle. It's not funny and it's not clever. Um, Coffee and cake at the polling station. Wow. Yeah, I think so the polling station was being used as a polling station, but its original purpose is like community centre. So I actually thought these old women were polling station clerks, officers, assistants, and they were just nipping out for a cigarette during the quiet moment and then going back in to enable people to submit their vote. But no, on the second time they came out, I was like, you are not, you're not working today. I should have probably guessed by their age, not to be ageist, um, but they were struggling to move around. They were, yeah. I probably should have realised when I first saw them that they weren't working for, as part of the election effort. Um, and I think they were there for some sort of coffee and cake gathering, which is, I doubt they were playing five-a-side, put it that way. I think it was a sedentary activity. Jay, mate, a proper Neil rant. Yeah, I've half an hour. I've spent most of the half an hour ranting, but very soft monologue rant. Yeah. Sometimes at council, I really get going, start jabbing my fingers and that, doing the sort of the chewing a wasp thing, and the eyes go as well. It's not a pretty sight, and these meetings are recorded as well. So yeah, I'm start and yeah, start sometimes I get tearful. Like, basically, a meltdown, but in a formal meeting. It's not fun for anyone, not least me. But here, I'm in a safe space. It's all cool, and you're gently encouraging me to share my thoughts about the political situation. So I hope it's entertaining as well as informative, just like my videos. Um, Mark, don't get me started on Thatcher. I was ranting over a televised funeral. My friend said, "You ain't helping yourself by directing so much energy towards her." Your friend's right, because she's dead. Thatcher's dead. Let that sink in. Um, yeah, you're not helping yourself by directing energy towards her corpse. So your friend's got a point, but I get why you would direct energy towards this dead person because her legacy lives on. And what a rotten legacy it is, as I've ranted about already. Uh, I taught my toddler son to say Thatcher out. Being neurodivergent, he spoke in sentences right away. Good work, Lily. Good sentence. And she is out. But as I've just said, her acolytes, her disciples, her fanboys and fangirls live on, extending Thatcherism into the 2020s and beyond, although hopefully not. There is an alternative, despite what Thatcher said, although it can be incredibly hard to believe that there is one. God, that sounds horribly worthy, doesn't it? But this is these these monologues are the monologues that I genuinely have. I'm autistic, say it as it is. What I'm saying to you now is what goes on in my head. So the only difference is that I'm verbalizing it truly, because what I'm saying now is what swirls around up there. And as I've said before in live streams, it's cathartic. It's a release to be able to release the words, the thoughts. Um, so I'm unashamedly using the live streams as sort of some sort of therapy, really. I think someone made that point. It's like, are you treating this as therapy? I'm like, yeah, I suppose I am. I didn't realize that when I started doing these. But yeah, absolutely, I get it. That's very therapeutic, and it's nice to see my buddies, of course. That's you, by the way. It's not people behind a laptop hiding while I'm doing this. Like, hi, buddies. Right, that was you. That is you. Um, I met someone many years ago who had a picture of the King of Spain and drink his toilet to motivate him to his business. I generally don't need much motivation to do my business. It just sort of happens. But each to their own. Picture of royalty to help the bowel movement. That's not a sentence I thought I'd share today. I was pretty certain I'd share the sentence Thatcher out. That's just standard. Like I said, dartboard. But yeah, using a picture of royalty to help a bowel movement, that wasn't on my Sunday bingo card. So thanks for that. Unfortunately, it's easy, far easier to blame immigrants than actually get off your derriere and make your own life better or make other people's lives better. Well said, Harriet. And I think it needs to keep being said as well. Um, yeah, it's easy to pin the blame on other people that you'll never meet because they'll never hear your lies. You just say, "Oh, it's their fault." It's like it's not their fault. It's generally people, you know, who emigrate or flee to another country. Well, if they're emigrating um, to another country, it's probably to get a job. Or I suppose if family or have already emigrated, they're not there to steal jobs. They're there to improve their own life chances, like anyone would want to do. They're making a decision to have a happier life. Um, but that gets twisted, and people say, well, that's to the detriment of the indigenous population. I mean, the hypocrisy of British and American people to criticize foreigners when Britain, if there needs to be a reminder, had quite a large empire, and someone at some point renamed that empire as the Commonwealth, as if the wealth is shared amongst the commoners. Um, these the empire wasn't that long ago. I mean, the United States is about 4 years old, isn't it? There's plenty of people there already, and then loads of Europeans visited slash invaded. And then they have the audacity to say, "Make America great again." You know, with immigrants out. What? You're the immigrants. Blows my mind. I think I might have said this as well. People on their local newspaper Facebook page say, "Oh, stop the boats." And unfortunately, because of reform doing so well, even more people are feeling confident enough to say, "Stop the boats, get them out." It's really horrible. And I said to someone, "Well, I came over on a boat to the UK and UK, and that's true." I mean, yes, I was 5 years old at the time, and yes, it was from the Shetland Islands or Shetland, as the locals call it, to Aberdeen in Scotland. But I came over on a boat, and I then moved from Scotland to England. So I moved to another country. And the reason why that happened is my stepdad got a job in Southern England. Should really know whether it's south or southern. Um, he worked for a British Telecom, and he moved from Aberdeen. We moved down south. Migration based on making life better for the family. Are you saying kick out the Scots from England? You're not saying that, are you? You're saying kick out the non-white people. That's what this is about. Complete distraction. You have more in common with people migrating to better their lives than you do with a rich white elite creating division to make it easy for them to pillage the world. And that's what it's always been about. Keep the masses squabbling amongst themselves. I said it all in a previous video, and I'll keep saying it. I'll say it at council meetings. I'll say it in letters to the paper. I'll say it when the context, that the situation that I'm in is right to say it. You know, and it feels embarrassing to have to keep repeating it because it's so obvious. But apparently not. People get strung along, and they are convinced by mendacious politicians to look at people with different colour skin from a different country and view them as a problem when they're not a problem. They're just trying to get along like everyone else is. So yeah, I'm an economic migrant. You gonna kick me out? I've been here for 38 years. Good luck with that. I mean, Arlene's in Canada. Um, Loads of Scots went to Canada. I mean, in a live stream, someone told me about the Proclaimers song. I can't remember the name of the song, annoyingly, but it's on the album Sunshine on Leith. Is it a letter from America? A letter from America, yeah? And that song was about working class people from Scotland emigrating to Canada to start again, to improve their lives. And I dare say you have people in Canada with, who have descendants in Scotland, whose descendants were from Scotland, saying, "Get the immigrants out." But you are from a family of immigrants. How dare you be so hypocritical? Sorry to pick on Canada, Ollie, but I did pick on Britain and the US as well, just to make sure we're all included in the self-righteous finger wagging. It's just so infuriating, the hypocrisy. Ugh. Stop trying to have everything just for you. Stop being greedy. Yeah, it's not all about you. Share. It's not difficult. I don't get it. The lack of thought is the issue. We're surrounded by dolts. That's a word I don't hear very often. Dolts. It's like a 1950s schoolmaster, that one. You silly dolt. You're absolutely right, Eileen. And I'm afraid to say that those two old ladies, women, should use the word ladies, women, were dolts. They were, yeah, it's good term for those two in particular. We'll need to look for any clear solutions, sympathise, complexity words. Spot on. Thank you, Mark. I'll take the praise. Sometimes I form coherent sentences in these live streams. You wonder why my videos, well, they used to be very heavily edited because I like to be precise, but I am autistic, so I want to convey the meaning I want to convey. Obviously, with a live stream, I have to just accept that there will be pauses and I will say the wrong words and then I will check myself and then I will over-explain like I'm doing now. But you guys know that because I'm assuming you're autistic as well. Find it fascinating how people can be so short-sighted to think immigration is the reason any country have problems. Human beings are nomads. That's brilliant, Kay. Yeah, human beings are nomads. Superb. Well, I'll borrow that one if I remember it. Because I'm ADHD as well. You forget things. But that's a brilliant way of putting it. I mean, humans are nomads. Of course. We don't stay rooted in one place and live our whole lives in one place. And anyone that comes near us is a foreigner to be scared of or to be angry about. Of course not. Plenty of people travel to work. Are you saying that if you live in Birmingham in the UK, you can't work in Coventry. If you live in Coventry, you can't work in Birmingham because they're different counties. Of course not. Of course not. So why can't you move to another country? And I mean, I heard someone, my wife told me that someone, she's a teacher, and the parents of a pupil at the school are thinking about, they said to my wife, they're thinking about moving to New Zealand. And the reason for that is because that person's partner has their employer is saying, we need you to go to New Zealand because that's where the work is. You're saying, oh, you shouldn't do that then. You know, you can't do that because you're from the UK. I mean, not that I've met family members over there, but lots of people from Shetland migrated to New Zealand in the 20th century. Apparently, there's an actor. He's not famous, but I suppose he's semi-famous in New Zealand, called James Lawrenson. Never met him. I'm not sure if he's even around. But the point I'm trying to make is that lots of people that I'm related to, emigrated to the other side of the world. It happens. So yeah, we're nomads. Canada, New Zealand, Australia, loads of places. People, voluntarily move and are accepted in their new communities. So why not now? I don't get it. So yeah, nice one, Kate. Um, Gordon, hello. Sorry, belatedly acknowledging your presence in the live stream chat. You've probably left by now because I acknowledged you 3 hours after you entered the room, but that is my habit in these things, as you know. I'm way behind on the chat because I get started on a run, and there we are. And I've got to keep an eye on the clocks. I've got to make the dinner. And I did say to my wife, I said I'll make it for about 7. So you might be stuck with me if you want to stay for another couple of hours. But of course, disappear whenever you want. Yeah, it's up to you. There are groceries to buy, your own meals to make, infinitely more entertaining and informative live streams to join. So yeah, just giving you sort of an estimated time of departure. Don't know why I said that, it just sounded funny. So welcome, Gordon. Always good to see new people here. Welcome to the madhouse. Shouldn't say that really, should I? I've said it now. Okay, when resources have become scarce or life conditions get difficult, we leave the place and find a better spot. Yes. So people voluntarily move to, mainly I would say because of work, to provide for their family. And also people are compelled to move because the environment that they live in is not conducive to living a happy, sustainable life. And climate change is making increasing parts of the world uninhabitable, which forces people to move. So the climate crisis is directly related to people migrating, moving. So this is why it's so illogical and infuriating to hear what far-right politicians are saying in the UK right now when they say, stop the boats and stop any effort to deal with climate breakdown. If you had any genuine interest in stopping the boats and ensuring that people stayed where they were born, you would do something about climate breakdown, because you would do what you can to ensure that the planet is habitable for all of us, and people therefore wouldn't be obliged to move somewhere where they can live sustainably and happily. It just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, people move to improve their lives voluntarily, and sometimes, unfortunately, or many times, people move because the life conditions are too difficult. It's just bizarre to have to, I don't know, share them with the converted here, because we're all deeply intelligent people in this virtual chat space. But I guess it's kind of useful to me to offload and waffle on about this, even if we already know it, just to, you know, remind ourselves that we're not the only ones who think these things or know these things. So, you know, again, I've been to plenty of meetings over the years and people saying the right things, putting the world to rights. And it's like, yeah, I already know this, but actually, it's quite nice to hear it from other people because I thought I was the only one, and I thought I was going mad. And no, lots of people, very sensible. It's good to hear it from each other. Uh, Russell, I've wanted to reform somehow win the next generation, whether they will still be able to carry on as an LLC, a limited company. Is that what you mean? Um, I'm not sure. I'm not clued up enough. But it just seems like a built-in recipe for corruption. It's just bonkers. Um, Hi, Gordon. Strange handle. No offense, but are you a bot? Oh, I do hope not. We don't want bots. I'm sure he's not though, because he's just said. Oh, I said about half an hour ago. Nice, but nihilistic, Neil. Cheers, Gordon. I'll take that. Layla, hello, hello. You're new to your chat. But you say new. You've probably been there for about half an hour, as the same as Gordon. Hello, welcome. Nihilistic, nerdy Neil. Spot on, Jane. Should have thought that myself. Cheers, Mark. Very engaging, of course. I'm well practiced at this now. It's number 11, I think. No, I'm just winging it. That's the point in it, live stream. In it, isn't it? Right, let me catch up. Later, the US is a mess. I should know I'm American. Yeah, and it's been replicated in the UK as well. If that makes you feel any better. The fire has spread across the Atlantic Ocean, and we are all surrounded by flames as well. Hopefully, that makes you feel better. States can only make state laws. I think federal laws are made by the overall government. Ah, see, that's how ignorant I am. Yeah, thank you, Russell. Um, but the point is, states in the US can make their own laws. So some states have the death penalty and some don't. Whereas in the UK, um, local councils can make their own bylaws. I really should know this. But there's one criminal justice system for England and Wales. So, you know, very complicated. But, you know, so is life, isn't it? In it again. God, I went to university and everything. Lily, fair enough, Gordon. Yeah, Gordon seems to be human. It has been confirmed. We had Gordon. We had someone say a stupid thing in the previous life, and I don't know if that means that they're a bot. It just means that they're a silly person. So it's good to be cautious. I just assumed that. Well, I did until the last time that everyone here is an actual human being with good intentions. But yeah, unfortunately, people do spoil things, or bots spoil things. Generally not here because this is such a tiny YouTube channel that why would they bother? But you know, one person tried last time and we kicked them out. Sorry, fly, kicking out a fly. Um, Arlie, local elections are count up in the matter to elect the top job in democratic governments. Ranked ballots could be the solution. Yeah, why not? Hey, some good news. Talk about the ballots. Where I am, there was a tie, dead heat between Reform, far-right fascist limited company, and the Green Party, the Party of the Angels, the one that I belong to, of course. So dead heat, and I had thought it was a toss of the coin because that has been the way that they've decided these things in the past. But a couple of days ago, a guy put his hand into a box of ballot papers and picked out a ballot paper, and whichever party, we had Reform and Green Party votes all mixed up, and whichever vote he picked out would be the winner of the election, and it was the Green Party. Yes. Can you imagine if Reform had won just by chance, as well as the 570 seats that they'd already won? So there was some good news on Friday. Layla, put your glasses back on. Well, I was just annoyed by the reflection, and it hasn't seemed to annoy me that much over the last 10 or so of these live streams. But because I was watching Mike Autistic AF, and he's just nailed this professional setup, and I just keep getting the basics wrong. So if it's okay, I'll leave these off, and you can look at my furrowed brow and squinty eyes, if that's okay. Yeah, I know I'm no oil painting, but I'm kind of over it now. Sort of getting into my 40s. Vanity, other than, of course, having a YouTube channel, 'cause that's an indication of vanity, I suppose. But personal appearance, nah, I'm getting older. And I'm saying this, I didn't make an effort in my 20s either. So it's a wonder that I'm married at all, because I'm just hopeless. Um, that's not fishing for compliments, that's just factual. Right. US was originally operated under Articles of Confederation, which treated states as independent city-states, with federal government acts as a body to regulate trade between states. I'm going to need to read that 10 times to understand it, but I bet you're right, and I'm not going to read it 10 times because that'd be boring for everyone else. But thank you. I do like knowledge because I'm autistic. I like to know where I stand. It was aimed at Sienna, but I also find you sensational. I thought nihilistic, ND, yeah, neurodivergent. That would have been the obvious adjective to use, wouldn't it? I insist that you call me nihilistic, neurodivergent Neil. I'm done with Neil. I've taken a leaf out of Sensational Sienna's book, and I would rather you call me this long-winded name because it's accurate and it's funny for you to have to go through that ordeal every time you want to get my attention. So it's nihilistic, neurodivergent Neil from now on, everyone. And I'm sure by making that demand, I'd have even fewer friends than I already have, or fewer colleagues that actually want to work with me. It's one way of creating more space for myself, isn't it? More safe space, just deliberately offend people so they don't want to talk to me anymore. I'm so good at unintentionally offending people because I'm autistic and I'm naturally on a different wavelength to most of humanity. Maybe I could just reinforce that by just saying bonkers things like, I insist on you calling me nihilistically neurodivergent Neil from now on. Who is that guy? I already thought he was odd. I'm not odd, I'm autistic. I'm not even going to entertain that suggestion. Bye, nihilistic neurodivergent Neil. Okay. Your loss. You've missed out on my funny jokes. I'll just have to share them in my live streams now. You do that, nihilistically neurodivergent Neil. I will, and I am. In Spain, party lists are not open, so it's not exactly democratic. I did not know that. I'm learning about Spanish politics as well. I was reading about French politics yesterday. I read a Financial Times article about a guy called Mélenchon. I can't pronounce it. I can't spell it. And there's an accent in there, Mélenchon. I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, guy in his 70s, far left. Well, according to the Financial Times, far left. Probably just a regular dude. But if you deviate one iota away from capitalism is great, then you're far left. You're a communist. It's like, no, I just want people to be nice to each other. Far left, extremist. It's like, I think it's more extreme to be slavishly devoted to a system that, on its current path, is set to turn the world into a bin fire. I think that's quite extremist. I just want people to share more. Nope. Can't believe you said that. Justice sensitivity, yeah. I didn't realize this until I watched Paul Micallef at Autism from the Inside's 9 Positive Traits of Autism. That was my penny drop moment. I've mentioned this before, and I think justice sensitivity, in terms of positive autistic traits, was number 9. And I was like, I'm autistic because I didn't even know about this justice sensitivity thing. I didn't know that was a trait. Um, and I was like, yep, I'm autistic. After watching hundreds of videos, I should emphasize, and reading about autism, deep diving into autism, possibly the most autistic thing you can do. Kitty in the garden's here. Hello. I hope you're well. Um, by my reckoning, I'm about 10 minutes behind catching up on the comments, so bear with me, everyone. Group therapy, yes, this is what this is, to me anyway. Kitty, I finally had an autism assessment recently, 2 years waiting, 6 more weeks to wait for results. Schrodinger's cat, good luck. Fingers crossed, and yeah, it's a big one, isn't it? I mean, I say that, I mean, sorry to bring it back on me, but I'm doing that autistic thing of relating with a similar story. My autism assessment report was like the biggest anticlimax ever, because I already knew, like I said, watch this video, Paul Micallef, I knew deep down that I am autistic. It took me 40 years to get there, but I got there. And then I got this report, and it just yeah, it wasn't fun. And that's my second video, badly produced video. But as I said in a later video, autism assessments and reports can be brilliant. So I hope yours is brilliant. Okay, fun fact regarding the King's PUC in the toilet, there's an expletive in Spanish that literally means I poop crap on you, you're dead, everything. Good stuff. Well, I've just booked. I'm looking at my other bookshelf. I've just booked a very expensive holiday to Portugal. I'm wincing because it was very expensive. But yeah, I'm going to Portugal, and immediately afterwards, I bought a Portuguese phrase book. So I'll have to look up whether there's an equivalent for "I poop crap on you, you're dead, everything" in Portuguese. I wonder what circumstance would be applicable for me to use that expression. Maybe a bad meal. I'll just go, "Ugh," get everything off the table, and in Portuguese say, "I poop crap on you, you're dead, everything." I wouldn't do that because I'm autistic and I cannot stand conflict. I would, if I had a bad meal, I would accept it peacefully. And then I'd look through my phrase book and go, "Obrigada," which I believe is thank you in Portuguese. Spanish expletives are very creative. I think expletives generally are, whichever language. I used the French expletive on holiday in Mallorca 6 years ago because then I was very, very drunk. And it was a French hotel, but in Mallorca, French owned hotel in Mallorca. And it was the last night of our holiday. And I got hammered on, what was it? Some cocktail. It was way too much vodka in it. But I was not hammered enough to forget what I'm about to share, which is that um, one of the members of staff, a French guy, was mocking me for the way I was dancing, or I don't know, way I was breathing. I could barely do that, and told him to go do something rude to himself in French. It's quite impressive that I remembered it, given what state I was in, but it wasn't very polite, and he just laughed at me, which is probably the best I could have hoped for in that situation, because he really ought to have been a little bit more annoyed, but maybe he was laughing at my accent. Maybe I just didn't make any sense at all, and in my head, I thought I'd said this swear word very eloquently, if that is such a thing. And he was just like, "Who is this English guy?" I was about to do a really bad French accent then, another one, but I won't. So yeah, Portuguese. I'm looking forward to learning a bit of that, which I'll leave to the last minute, like on the plane. Um, Dude, let's be frank, foreigner without qualification, without commuting the irony of me not saying the word communication has struck me. I was trying to read fast, and I'm not able to do so. If the foreigner without the qualifications and without the communication language gets a job, it was not a job for locals in the first place. Yeah, it's there. I've seen a meme that kind of makes that point. Um, yeah, meritocracy. Then you should believe that if you have the ability, then you'll get the job. But if you don't believe in the meritocracy, then anyway. My great-grandfather on my mum's side came over in the late 1800s from Ireland. My father's side is a bit murky. Quebec is earliest. We can trace his side too. Yeah, and that's reminded me. I was watching. Thank you for the emojis. I'm not quite sure what they're for. I think there's a bit of a time delay, but I'll take the emojis. Cheers. I can't do it. Mine just looks like a squashed moth. That's meant to be a heart emoji, but it just looks like a squashed moth. I've got arthritis. I don't know. Um, so I'll do the thumbs up instead. The Paul McCartney thumbs up works a charm every time. Um, I'm still trying it, but no, I just look like I'm having a cardiac arrest. Which is quite ironic, really, because of heart. Anyway, that's the grim subject. Um, not the heart emojis, the other thing that I just said. Yeah, Philomena. I was watching a film called Philomena with Steve Coogan, um, about a toddler that was taken from an orphanage, not an orphanage, because the parents are still around. Anyway, child was taken from this place in central Ireland and taken to the United States, and that person obviously grew up, became a member of the Reagan administration, like really high up, like official within the Reagan and Bush administration. So maybe it was one or the other, and passed away unfortunately, and I think in his 40s. It's a true story. Um, and he tried to find his mother, and the nuns in Ireland prevented him. So I'm spoiling the film. Prevented him from doing so, and that's a true story. Um, but really, that's not a very good comparison because that's one individual. But yeah, RFK. Dare I mention the name? Would be a better comparison because the Kennedys are, I'd say, obviously from Ireland originally. Um, so again, emigration. People move. We are nomads. My dad's Scottish, my mum's English. Case in point again, really. Yeah, I really hate hypocrisy. Me too. My dad came over where I live now with his parents when he was 6, fleeing repression after the Civil War ended, somewhere where nobody knew them. Wow. Yeah. What can I say? I'm gutted. I'm assuming that was a long time. Well, it was a long time ago. Obviously. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I shared this before. Probably have, because I've got a hopeless memory. My wife's granddad was a soldier in the Second World War from Pennsylvania, from Erie, Pennsylvania. So he had a family in Pennsylvania in 1943, 44. I don't know when it was actually. And he came over to England, and then he met a local English person, and then my father-in-law appeared in 1944. Yeah, circumstances terrible. Hitler, you know, no Hitler, no my wife. I've made that deeply profound point to my wife as if she needed to be told that, because of course she would know that. And I know you could assume that I'm saying, well, because my wife's here, that particular individual wasn't all bad. I'm not going to go there. Okay. Oh, I'm good. Digging the figurative hole for myself. Oh dear. As I said, you can see why I edit my videos, or used to, because just say the wrong thing time and time again. That's why I have no friends other than you guys. That's why I don't leave the house most days, because open this and I'm like, oh no, I've done it again. And yeah, easier just to stay indoors and keep the randomness in my head. Um, Laura Havoc, my great grandfather had to leave Ireland due to being wanted for crimes against the crown. He was an Irish rebel. What those crimes involved, he never said. Crikey, that's fascinating. Crimes against the crown. Wow, that is a true rebel. I thought I was a rebel. I'm nowhere near that. Crikey. Um, oh, I think I'm catching up. Blimey. Okay, this is entertaining. I do hope so. An hour and 10, it feels like 10 minutes, not an hour and 10 minutes, does to me anyway. As I said, there will be well, there has to be a conclusion. I can't literally do this forever, can I? Just keep talking until I've got this really big beard. Don't know why I said that. It's not even funny. Um, yeah, I hope it's entertaining in a way. Madhouse sounds like a lot of fun to me. Yeah, we need fun right now because this live stream, for one thing, started off rather depressingly. But hopefully it's been elevated into fun times now. Yeah, it's the good stuff now, isn't it? It takes you about an hour to get warmed up. Nomad house. Haha. The one this was a nomad house, now it's a madhouse. Yeah, let's stick with nomad house. Russell, the phrase "stop the boats" has been described as dehumanizing, as it's not boats that they are really talking about, it's people. Yeah, it's a really good point. It's easier to dismiss people who are fleeing war and persecution and the effects of climate breakdown by not referring to them at all. Just refer to the means of transport, because you're not treating them as people. Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Arlene, far right and Green Party tied, madness. Yeah, both of them just got under 800 votes each. Yeah, what a conflicted electorate in that part of the world. But yeah, randomness. Luck won the day for the Greens. Would have been truly miserable day if Reform had won that one as well. Our rank ballot's the same thing as closed list. That's what we have in Spain, and many people are not very happy about it. I'm not clued up enough to know. Maybe someone else knows the answer. I always take my glass off a picture. There's light reflection. Bothers me yet. Apologies if you have to see more of my face because I'm not wearing my specs, but I can't figure out the light reflection because I haven't figured out light and making videos or live streams. I could suss it out one day, but I'm just too idle and distracted to do so. Nihilistic ND Neil sounds very fitting. Yeah, maybe that's another channel where I just, instead of talking about autism, I just talk about what makes me miserable. Maybe there'll be a demand for that, an audience. Oh yeah, my family. Although they don't demand it, they just have to tolerate it. Big difference. Hey Lee, hope you're well. Kids in the garden, two rooms, another three saying that's acting with pointing out some far right ideals. I wonder who you're talking about. Mm, coming 49 year ago. Mark Shetland to Aberdeen. Maybe you could open up a Neeps and Tatties pop-up with a poem. Yeah, Neeps and Tatties is not a phrase I've heard for a while. That's a Scottish delicacy, if you can call it that. Yeah, I'm thinking about um yeah, maybe I should stop thinking about it because I can't get my words out. I'm having to think about doing, like I've already said, a poetry sort of chapter, channel, Patreon segment. I don't know. Um, yeah, I really want to publish another book. It's a very egotistical thing to confess and think, but I've got all these poems just burning a hole in my laptop, and I've applied to become like a well, it's effectively like a local poet laureate type thing. I must say I've applied for this. Now I'm not going to be chosen, but I've applied for it because I'm just like, well, why not? It's a yet another distraction from real life. I mean, if I did get chosen, I'd really struggle to fit it in, not least because I love doing this, but I just want to give myself, I just want to enjoy being creative. And, if you don't try things out, you never know where they might lead, I guess. So who knows? It might happen, it might not. Um, I was kind of hoping with the music reviews that someone would go, "Oh my word, this is amazing. This is like the heyday of the late 70s, early 80s, NME and Melody Maker. Who is this Lawrenson chap? Get him into the Guardian. He can do the culture column or website page, whatever. He's amazing." No, no one's emailed me. No one's phoned me to say, here's a job. Um, I'm just writing these music reviews for free. But I enjoy them, so carry on. Uh, Really, I passed my CBT provisional motorbike license. They set up CBT for NDs. I had instructed both myself, two others had another. Well done, you passed. Wicked. Again, I'm going to do that autistic thing of relating by sharing a similar story. Um, but I passed my driving test on the second go, and I cried. Um, I couldn't believe it. So yeah, well done. It's a big deal. Yeah, I was so relieved. Yeah, probably should have cried when I got my autism assessment report because it was so dreadful. Not the revelation that I'm autistic, because it wasn't a revelation, but because it was like, who is this unfeeling sociopath that they've made me out to be? Get in the bin. Yeah, glad I didn't pay for it. Goodness sake. I don't think insults will be in your Portuguese phrase book. I think they might be actually. Well, I've had in my Croatian phrase book, there were some insults. So I haven't flicked through it, the Portuguese one, as yet, but wouldn't be so sure, Kitty. I think that they might have slotted in a couple of swear words in Portuguese. Not that I would use them, of course. The swear word that I used in Mallorca was a swear word that I think I learned when I was in France. Um, I had French pen pals, but yeah, I wouldn't be so sure. I think they might have been a bit naughty there. Lonely Planet phrasebook. Lily was 65. That'll soon be me, 65. Um, Gordon's, no worries, Gordon. You've probably gone already, done your business, maybe come back already. Okay, normally use that expression when things go south from what you planned or you feel frustrated by circumstances or people's actions. I can't remember the expression that you're referring to because I'm so far behind in the chat. Apologies. Russell, advance notice I had to start dinner at 5:30. We have a strict dinner time routine in this house, and each day of the week has a specific dinner type. Not sure what these things are a sign of. Me neither, Russell. What could it be? Might it begin with A? I don't know. But sounds very logical and sensible. So Well done you and your family. The appropriately, accurately named me has said, "Hang on, I'm me. That's you've picked my name." Sorry for the distracting hearts on the screen. Don't have many words. They're not distracting at all. I love them. Um, Carry on. If you accidentally lean on the laptop and then all these emojis appear, I'm just going to assume that I'm saying wonderful things. So, yeah, someone's done it again. They've accidentally, we're trying to take the win. A voice of reason, Mark. I've been called well, referring to me. Yeah. Lee, I'm trying to learn to ride a new bike and abandoned it just now. I came back inside. I've worked out it's the close fitting cycling clothes. I just can't concentrate in them. Well, you know what that's reminded me of? My poem about the man in denim shorts. And you don't want to hear that again. Cool, what an experience. Yeah. Those shorts were not sufficiently baggy for my liking. Yes. Mark, this video made my Sunday. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I didn't. When I woke up this morning and threw my dart at Thatcher, I didn't think that I'd be doing this today, but I thought, I think I'll do a live stream. I've got a job application to fill in for the National Autistic Society, and then I found out that that job's no longer available. So I will be staying put. Oh, and I thought, well, okay, I'll do a live stream then. Oh, hang on. Just to let that sink in, yeah. Kitty Nicole saying, no Hitler, no me. My paternal grandfather was in the Canadian Air Force and came to England and helped conceive my dad, unbeknownst to him. Wow, so there we are. I'm trying to think of something profound, but no, you've done it, Kitty. Just, yeah, it's life is it works in mysterious ways. I think it's the most profound thing I can say at that point. Arlene, ranked ballots are described here as first, second, and third choice, still just a talking point here in Canada. That may be a bit like uh, what we had in the UK in 2011. We had a referendum on introducing an alternative voting system, which would have replaced the first past the post system. So the first past the post system is whoever gets the most votes wins the seat. Under an alternative voting system, you could rank your order of preference. And it was like I think a midway point between first past the post and proportional representation. Where with proportional representation, you also rank your preferences, and then the seats are shared out based on percentage of vote. And I've just really bored myself now, so I'm just going to stop talking about proportional representation, which, those two words put together are really unsexy, aren't they? Proportional represent. Ugh, God, boring myself then. But I do believe in proportional representation. It is Green Party policy. I'm not just agreeing with it because it's Green Party policy. I'm agreeing with it because I think it's the right thing to do. But it's also very boring to talk about, so I'll stop. I'm not sure if it's written anywhere, but do you have a set schedule for streaming? No, and even when I do schedule one in, like I did with 5 hours notice today, it doesn't work. So I have to start a new one. But no, generally speaking, I don't have a schedule. I'm a very moody person, take each day as it comes. I can't anticipate that in a week's time I'll have the energy and state of mind to do this. So it's a rolling, not a rolling program. That's a contradiction of what I'm trying to say. It's I just go with the flow, which is kind of not typically autistic, but yeah, I don't plan the live streams. I just have a vague idea of trying to do a video a week, and then if I have the energy and the time and the emotional capacity, I will then I'll do a live stream. But yeah, there's no schedule. Sorry if that disappoints. So yeah, don't get your diaries out like I have um, to the side of the laptop. I can't give you a schedule, a program of dates, so you can construct your lives around whenever my live streams are happening, because I'm that important. No, that's not going to happen. Sorry. I thought autistic people couldn't make poetry. Yeah, Lunit, Lunit. It's we can. Um, you furrowed brow, you youth. Yeah. My youth. I like I said in I think it's my I keep plugging videos that I've made, but yeah, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying that I've talked about things already, and I've talked about aging before in a video, and yeah, like physically, the last year or so, I've really felt that I'm getting old, but mentally, I still feel like a teenager. So yeah, I do feel like a youth upstairs, but yeah, the body isn't keeping up, um, which sucks, but you know, inevitable. I'm gradually getting used to it, and I'm looking forward to a good long rest. What can I say? I said to my second cousin, I get confused with family structures, but I went to a joint birthday event and an autistic nightmare. Um, do not get me wrong, I dreaded it because I'm in misery. But joking aside, because I'm autistic and I cannot do small talk, and I was hungover as well. Didn't really help myself in advance of this, and yeah, and I couldn't really hear because sensory um, auditory processing, sound separation, just yeah, all over the place. Too many people in the room. Can't do small talk. Nightmare. And what was the point I was trying to make? I've already forgotten. What was I talking about? I've forgotten my point. Yeah, I've completely forgot my point. I was trying to give you context, and I've completely forgotten my point. But yeah, I've made another point about being autistic in a noisy environment, as if you needed to know that that's the sort of struggle that an autistic person faces. I'm sure whatever I meant to say originally was going to be fascinating. Um, what was that's going to bug me now. What was I saying to my second cousin? No, I've forgotten. It's ironic that I read the comment "I am ADHD" because I'm sure my memory oversharing is the ADHD part of my brain. So you're ADHD and a poet and art. That's fantastic. I mean, the Venn diagram of ADHDers and artists, it's like almost a perfect circle, isn't it? I don't know. Um, Let me just catch up on the chat. Um, so Kay said, yes, the same thing. You cannot vote for the person you want in any given party, but for the whole list and rank the pre-arranged. All right. I'm going to have to do a deep dive into Spanish and Canadian politics another time. I say this, but as soon as I finish the live stream, I'll get distracted by something shiny and I won't do what I've just said. I can't even remember my own thoughts that I had in my own head. So, as you've just seen, um, yeah. Arlene, good crowd here. Just post a new video, but everyone's here. My timing's off. Yeah, this is the main event, Arlene. Come on now. What are you doing posting videos? It's autistic, not alien time. Come on now. I'm just saying what I've just said. That reminded me of a Canadian, Dana. That's his Joe Biden impression. Yeah, all of that. So come on now. Let's be clear. that was dreadful. I'm sorry for what I just did there. That was I did in my head. I was doing a Joe Biden impression, but I did sort of a half-baked, bottom lip Donald Trump thing. I'm so sorry. Ugh. Yeah, go and see the Dana Carvey impression of Joe Biden. It's amazing. Um, so yeah, let's be clear. This is the main event. But after this, everyone go and artistic, artist on the spectrum. Go and see Arlene's next video and all her other videos because yeah, they're great. She's a musician, so Layla, you're a poet and artist. Go to Arlene Artistic on the Spectrum's channel and watch the video, and the others. Mark, you are my friend and my former colleague. Stick together, belatedly. Hey, I can't ride a bike or drive a car. All of you can do it. Are my heroes and heroines. Yeah, but we've all got our own strengths, haven't we? I can't believe that I can drive a car. It's I never thought I'd be able to. Um, but not that I go around boasting about it, but I can drive a car. I'm just amazed, given my general lack of coordination and multitasking, that I can drive a car. But yeah, cool. Needs must. I just had to learn. But if you can't, you can't. Lonely Planet is lonely because they told everyone to F off. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's why they're not selling so many language guides. Um, hang on, let me just catch up here. Proportional representation, that's what they're calling it here. Sounds like it's not the same as ranked. All right, maybe Canada. I mean, we do have PR well, we did have PR when we were members of, or a member of the European Union, the EU. So it's really weird because you have first past the post, and I'm being really boring again, so I'm going to stop. But if you want to know more about PR, aka proportional representation, you know my email. We can share thoughts on electoral systems and potentially bore each other to tears. But at least it will distract us from the rise of fascism. So the silver lining there. Um, Layla, you moody? No. Yeah. LMAO. Yeah. In case it wasn't apparent, I am incredibly moody. Which is quite ironic because this alexithymia, which I can't even say, this inability to articulate my own emotions, is a very real thing for me. I just don't know what's going on most of the time. I don't know whether I'm peeved or very peeved or very, very, very peeved or apoplectic with fury or all of those things all at once. I just don't, I never really know. And I didn't know that was an autism thing until quite recently. But the irony is that I know for certain that I am a very moody person. I just don't know what mood I'm experiencing at any given point. Um, yeah, sometimes it's fun, like doing this. Um, yeah, doing this basically. And when I'm not doing this, I'm just moody. I'm just circulating these thoughts in my mind, like not knowing what I'm feeling, not being able to name it. But I'm 43 now, so I'm just kind of used to that um, swirling thought processing, inability to name what's going on in my head and my heart. I'm trying to brush it off with silly sarcasm, I guess, as a coping mechanism. I don't know whether I'm making any sense, but you got to pass the time somehow. And here I am, you know, and this is all voluntary, not community service like Duke of Edinburgh. You're here to pass the time as well. And if you don't want to be here, then there's a million other things you could do, like watch Arlene's new video after this. Russell saying to me, my maternal grandfather was an American stationed in UK. Well, maternal, fantastic. There we are. It's probably quite common. I don't know how many American soldiers were stationed here in the Second World War. I should probably find that out. Um, but yeah, my kids are like, I don't know, 8% American. I don't know what it is. I don't know how these percentages work. But that's the human race, is it not? We're a melting pot. I've got Shetland, which is Viking, Norwegian, um, Danish, because it was. Is it part of Denmark? I really should know that as well. It was part of Denmark, Shetland, and then Scotland acquired it somehow, a dowry or something. Mum's English, doesn't know her real dad, so that's a massive blank space in the family tree. We don't know. My real granddad could have come from anywhere. Don't know. But the point is, we're all part of the same family, are we not? A big family called the human race. A big family that does a lot of bickering and quite a bit of genocide as well. The only birthday parties I attend on my own. Yeah, birthday parties. Yeah, what was it I was saying to my cousin? That's going to do my head in. I'm so sorry. It wasn't, whatever it was I was intending to say, it wasn't going to be groundbreaking or very funny. It was related to something that someone had said. It'll come back to me in 4 years' time, by which point it'll be irrelevant. But yeah, birthday parties. Yeah, I, I I couldn't get out of the one yesterday, and it was all right. It was all right, to be fair. It was okay, yeah. But I did struggle with small talk, and my niece was there, so I, yeah, the best part was colouring in uh like a bag, the picture on a bag. The best part of the day was colouring in a tree on a bag with my 3-year-old niece, because and she was talking absolute nonsense because she's 3, but it was very entertaining. Um, so here we are. Oh, Russell's gone. Oh, it's gone ages ago. Crikey, the last time I looked at the clock, it was 5:21. Now it's 5:39, and he said he had to go for his tea at 5:30. Um, bye, Russell. He's already having his tea, dinner. I don't know. Laura Havoc. Okay, but lovely. Brought me coffee and food before he goes to appointment. Okay, doke. Um, yeah, it's a very common story. Okay, never wanted to learn to drive. The bike thing does annoy me though. Yeah, yeah, I do quite a bit of cycling. I was kind of not anti-bike, but I just used to run everywhere. Um, but yeah, if you've watched one of my previous videos, I don't do so much running these days, so I do get on the bike, and it's convenient. What can I say? But if you can't ride the bike, then there'll be an alternative. As if you needed to be told that from me. Um, okay, I love your way of describing it in terms of levels of peevedness. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Um, I remember again. I often quote or refer to Paul at Adult with Autism. Paul got me started on this autism YouTube thing, and uh, what was it he said? He said that his sort of default mood is sort of low level annoyance. Just generally, like the baseline emotional state that he has is like sort of low level annoyance or grumpiness. I can't remember the exact word he used. And that's my default. That's my baseline. Yeah, being grumpy. Um, and that makes a lot of sense because I'm autistic in a world not designed for me. So I'm constantly anxious about what might happen and whether I'm going to say the wrong thing and why that. I left my house to go and book a holiday this morning, and as soon as I opened the door, I live in a busy road. As soon as I opened the door, someone bibbed their horn, not at me. I hope not. Anyway, it's like, oh, what? Neil, oh, left his own house. Um, no, I'm entitled to leave my own house. I do try to minimise that behaviour because I like to stay indoors and do autism live streams. But now and again, you have to engage with humanity to get stuff or book stuff. So this is what I was about to do. Literally, open the door. As soon as I step outside, beep beep. I'm like, this is why. This is one of the many reasons why I minimize contact with the outside world. It's like the noise, the unpredictability. Ugh. So yeah, it's no wonder that my baseline mood is grumpy. Um, but then there are levels of peevedness, grumpiness. See, I don't know. This is the point. I don't know. Am I grumpy? Am I peeved? Is it anxiety? Is it, depression? Is it mild sadness? I don't know. It's just a mess. But I'm more at peace with that mess because I now know that I'm autistic. So, you know, and here I am talking nonsense. Um, Fury. I love that word. Fury is a good word, isn't it? It's not a good thing, but fury. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be used very much. It's more anger or rage, isn't it? But fury. Um, Mark, you're a wealth of knowledge. It's refreshing. Thank you. I can only say it as I see it from my unique autistic lens. I hope some of the randomness is informative. It's grounded in fact, but this live stream has been very subjective. And how could it be otherwise? Because it's just from my own perspective, as all my videos are from my own perspective. I am not the authority on anything but my own life. And even with that, I'm asking questions all the time. So how can I be expected to be a font of all knowledge? Because I don't have all the knowledge. I can only blurt things out in a live stream and hope some of it's factual because autistic people do like facts, but they tend to be rarities in these live streams because it's by definition a rambling monologue. So yeah, sorry if you're expecting encyclopedic deep dives into a whole range of fascinating topics. No, you're just watching a middle-aged man in the UK lose his mind in a polite fashion. And if that's entertaining to you, well, great. Stick around because there'll be more of it today, at least an hour. In fact, I better finish in an hour. I said 7 PMT. Um, and yeah, there'll be other live streams. UK-based middle-aged man losing his mind politely. Yeah, and I really should stop talking about myself in the third person, if that is even the third person. I don't know. I didn't. I didn't concentrate when I did my English degree. First, third person. What? I don't even know what that means. So, oh, Agent X Force is here. Hello. Just joined while waiting to get a train home. I love hearing. Arlene said she was listening to me while she was doing her groceries. It's such a wonderful image. Um, you know, just people. Well, quite egotistical thing for me to say that, but people would listen to my videos or live streams while out and about. I just find that mind-boggling, really. I just assume that everyone's like sitting down like I am now, looking at a laptop, but I guess a lot of you are on your phone or a tablet and you're on the move. Just find that bizarrely mind-blowing. I don't know why. Um, Let me just catch up on the old chat. I think I'm gradually getting there. I watched, as I said, Autistic AF Mike do a live stream 3 or 4 days ago, and he makes no pretense of trying to catch up with the chat. But then, not that I'm having a go at him, because there's so many people there. Yeah, how could he? But at the moment, with 20, 30 people in these live streams, which is usually what it is, it's just about manageable. So I suppose anything beyond 30, 40 people, it's like, yeah, forget keeping up with the chat. Just chat your nonsense, and then occasionally go, oh, that's an interesting comment. I'll start riffing on that. But as this channel is so tiny, I don't have the numbers that Mike has. That's fine. It's not a willy waving contest. Each to their own. So I do try to keep an eye on all comments. But I can't even remember my own, because I had a mind blip a few minutes ago. So yeah, I am peeved by that. Tempted to write a poem about being peeved. I spent most of last year writing poems about being peeved, about genocide. It's one way of getting it out, I suppose, isn't it? I'd recommend it. Get it on paper, get it onto paper, do a video about it, tell a friend, let it out. Otherwise, you'll possibly make yourself anxious and poorly. I thought alexithymia was to do with masking. I'm no expert on alexithymia. I can't even say the word. But I don't think it's to do with masking. I think it's more it's like masking is like a conscious effort to blend in, whereas alexithymia is about you understanding what's going on in your head. Whereas masking is fully conscious, well-practiced effort. Alexithymia is sort of more introspective. I might be talking absolute rubbish here. Correct me in the chat. Send me an email. Tell me I'm wrong. I want to learn. So Agent X was, how am I? I have no idea, because I have alexithymia. So I have no idea how I am, because I can't name my emotions. Is that an autistic enough answer for you? Was that a bit too direct? Am I analysing it too much in a typically autistic, want to get it right fashion? Probably. How are you? What's the point? Kissing gun, autism spectrum, the lower level is peevish. Peevish, yeah. That's my baseline, but we'll go with that. I'm peevish. And I throw a dart at the Thatcher picture, and I'm like, mildly less peevish. Mel Harris, makes sense to me. Grand. Hopefully some of this is making sense. Arlene, there once was a nihilist named Neil whose peeve scale was funny but real. I like that. Relatable, yes. A scalable test with peevish is the first one to feel. I mean, that's just off the cuff, amazing work. To Arlene. Fantastic. A limerick in the chat, and a really good limerick as well. I've read a lot of bad limericks. I suppose some limericks are designed to be bad. That is proper good. I love that. In fact, I want to copy and paste it. Can I do that in the chat? I don't know. I've got a Word doc with my video description opened up as a backup. Oh yes, I saved it. Cool. Thanks, Arlene. I shall enjoy that later on. Oh, hang on. Don't click that. That's 3 dots. Don't know what that means. Okay. Great work. Ooh. Right, let me just catch up from yeah, almost there. So thank you. I'll be here all week. Well, Arlene, you've got another video to make. Come on, keep up with it. Mark, you've had a sudden urge to play Weezer songs. That is a good urge to have. Yeah, why not? Weezer got a new album out. I think they have. British man slowly losing mind will always be entertaining. Really? Um, it depends. Yeah, in the context. I think. Yeah, talking about politics again. Certain British men losing their minds is not a safe thing for everyone else, shall we say? Lose his mind in polite fashion. You're so British. I did think, as I was saying such a ridiculous thing, that that might be classified as a rather British way of phrasing things. It just seemed like a stereotypically nuanced and pretentious thing for a British person to say, as was the sentence I've just said. But I do like to be precise because I'm autistic. And one of the reasons I don't have many friends in the real world is that I make such an effort to say the right thing, like I am trying to achieve now, and people assume that I am being pretentious, trying to be clear, and it's annoying. And I've done a video about that. I think it's called "Do You Know What I Mean?" Check it out. It's great. I do it an impression of Liam Gallagher from Oasis. That was a lot of fun to make. Or do. See, trying to be clear. Just cooked myself breakfast with a live stream on. Cool. Whereabouts are you? I need to get a drink of water, but I'm not going because I'm scared that you'll disappear. So I shall go and get a drink of water in about 40 minutes, if that's okay. Uh, Agent X-Force. I was on the tube when this lad got on with an adult parent. The lad wore a green flower lanyard and badge reading "I am autistic." I wonder if it was the parents' idea for him to wear the badge. Yeah, there's is it sunflower badge lanyard? There's a sunflower scheme in the UK, and it's a way of communicating that someone is autistic. Um, I am in favour of it. I mean, if it means that people are able to get reasonable adjustments more easily. So, for example, in an airport, if you have a lanyard on and the staff are trained to be aware of the meaning of that lanyard, that badge, and it means that you don't have to explain why you might need reasonable adjustments. It's just immediately obvious that you would. Then I'm all in favour of it. But then, of course, we're all individuals, so a reasonable adjustment for one autistic person is not necessarily the reasonable adjustments that another autistic person would require. But I'm in favour of it if it communicates a need more easily. That said, I hate the colours green and yellow in combination. And so for that superficial reason, I'm out. Ridiculous, isn't it? In it. I don't like the Norwich City football strip. Sorry, any Norwich City fans, any Canaries, but I don't like green and yellow in combination. But that is true. But joking aside, I'm in favour of the badges. But yeah, it's a good question. Who's making the decision? Um, is it significant? Who makes the decision? I think autistic people generally want autonomy, but then maybe an autistic person with higher support needs isn't able to communicate their needs, so they need someone else to do that for them. Good question, though. As people who've been here a bit longer than you, Agent X-Force will testify, I'm not very good at answering questions in this live stream. But you're all here for the chaos anyway. If you wanted clinical answers, you would go to another autism YouTube channel, or you'd read a manual, or talk to a sensible friend. But if you want polite chaos and meandering responses and me not being able to remember my own thoughts, then, well, yeah, stick around for a bit longer if you want. Katie, I also use poetry to get things out of the world and life out of my system. It works fairly well for me. grand. It's not just me then doing that. Yeah, I must have written about 25 poems last year. So when I said I wrote poems all the time, that was clearly an exaggeration. See, autistic people are not necessarily always trying to strive for 100% accuracy. I do exaggerate to emphasize a point. But up until last year, or late 2023, when the genocide started, I didn't write serious poetry. I was always funny stuff. But I just had to get it out of my system. I had to. I was going mad. I'm still not dealing with it very well now. Um, so it's quite reassuring to read that, Kayleen. Um, and yeah, whatever the subject, if you're upset about something, I'd recommend manifesting that despair in an artistic endeavour. See what I mean about pretentious British sentences? But I love words. I love poetry. Just let it flow. Sometimes it does flow, and sometimes I can't remember who I am. Yeah. I would say exercise as a disconnect between the brain and the body. It's the same with the disconnect between the brain and the muscles. Yeah, I think you're right. It is a disconnect. It's yeah. Can't say it better than that. I can't connect the synapses in my brain to form a coherent sentence. Although maybe I just achieved it with that previous sentence. Although achieve is quite an inflated word to use, isn't it? See, I'm obsessed with words. Accuracy. I think next time it's more to the interception than with masking. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Thank you, Kate. Um, Asian X will say, I never know how I am. Yeah, and there's that thing where autistic people find it difficult when someone asks them, or I'm not saying all autistic people, but it's quite common for autistic people to struggle with the question, how are you? It's like, well, this label in the back of my jumper sweater is quite itchy, and I'm quite anxious about going to work today because most people there don't like me very much because of the double empathy problem, and I really struggle with the fact that I've got to do 7.5 hours of tasks that I'm not naturally interested in, and sorry to hello, but come back, come back. I was just answering your question. How are you? I was giving you an accurate, truthful answer. Did you? Oh, you want me to lie? Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Oh, sorry. Neurotypical rules, just lie. Oh, sorry. I forgot. I was being my authentic autistic self, which I realized over the years doesn't do me many favors unless I'm in an autistic safe space like this. And it's all good because, it's all harmless fun. Um, Lena, I appreciate the clarity, but I also value transparency in getting the message across as efficiently as possible. Love from the US. Squashed moth. Thank you. That means a lot. I'm here for all the praise. But yeah, it does. Thank you so much. Layla, I don't think you seem pretentious at all. Thank you. I don't think I'm pretentious. I use the occasional long word, um, but it's all coming from a desire to be accurate. And just that sentence there, coming from a desire to be accurate, it's quite convoluted. And just the word convoluted is convoluted to some people, or maybe quite a lot of people. And so, me endlessly striving for accuracy is interpreted as me trying to be more clever than other people. And I'm like, no, no, I feel like an imposter. I don't feel like I'm clever about any subject. Still learning about autism, for goodness sake, and I am autistic, you know. So, yeah, I don't think I'm pretentious, but I think other people, if they think about me at all, think that I'm pretentious. And it makes a lot of sense that they would think that because of the difference in communication and different wavelength, and I'm autistic and most people are not. So I get it now, but it still hurts because I'm like, you're misinterpreting what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. I'm not who you think I am. I'm just trying to be accurate, and knowledge is safety. And why are you reading motives into what I'm saying when those motives don't exist? Stop wasting your time dreaming up motives that I don't have. I'm just being honest with you. I'm autistic. I want you to know where I don't want us both to know where we stand. Safety, happy, no happy. You thought I was being pretentious and trying to make out that I'm cleverer than you. Whoops. Oh well. Your loss. You've just missed out on my witty company. Who's the loser here? I think I might have done a successful double eyebrow raise there. I was trying to do a raise because my daughter was trying to do one for whatever reason at the dinner table when we were having lunch. I think she was trying to do a Jim Carrey eyebrow raise, and I couldn't do it, so I just had to do this, which I think is cheating. But I tried. Okay, love Weezer or Louvre Weezer. Yeah, me too. Well, I would say love Weezer. I'm not actually that familiar with Weezer, but the early stuff, Body Holly in particular, or Hash Pipe. This is going back 20 years though, isn't it? In it, yeah. Love the old Weezer, the old stuff. It was a very middle-aged thing to say, but Um, the problem is a lot of airlines don't actually train people on what it means. Yeah, probably true. But a lot of people don't know what autism means, do they? Which is one reason why I do this channel. Not so much the live streams. I don't think neurotypical people would dip into these live streams, but and if they did, they're more than welcome. But yeah, fill your boots. Spend 3 hours listening to an autistic person ramble on. Great, fine. But when I make the videos, like I hope that neurotypical people will watch them because I want them to be more clued up on autism. And if one person who works at an airport just randomly stumbles upon one of my silly videos and learns one thing about autism, then that's a win. So, and I keep trying to do more about autism awareness um, in my workplace, and not as successfully as I would like. But I think I'll leave it there. You just made me laugh out loud on the train. People looking at me now. Yes, I made someone laugh on the train. That has made my day, Agent X Force. Fantastic. Like I said, I'm just bizarrely surprised that people would watch me ramble on in a live stream while they're on the move. I don't know why that is so amazing to me, but I've said it about 4 times now. So yeah, I made you laugh on the train. Woohoo! That's brilliant. Although maybe not so good that people are looking at you now. But people think, mostly neurotypical people, they make all sorts of noises on public transport. They don't care. Like people with music. Like I'm going to sound like a proper middle-aged person now. Strap in, everyone. But you've been there, haven't you? You've been on a train. I mean, it's a sensory overload nightmare anyway because we're autistic. And I'm just making an assumption that all autistic people, to an extent, struggle with loud, unpredictable noises in combination. And public transport is a classic situation whereby multiple noises will happen, and you struggle to screen them out. And one of those noises is people playing music or videos. I'm like, I don't want to hear. I was going to say Seinfeld, but that's a very dated reference. But it could be an episode of Seinfeld. I don't want to. I don't want to hear it. I'm listening to it, and it's 10 minutes in, so I've missed the first 10 minutes. So even if I was interested in Seinfeld, I've missed 10 minutes because I've just got on the train. That's a bad example. It's more likely to be a TikTok or a conversation. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you tell your grandma the exact coordinates of where you are on the planet. I'm not interested. No one else is interested on the train, and I bet your gran isn't interested. So why are you communicating that knowledge so loudly? Just Just don't. So yeah, I hope the laughter wasn't as disturbing as those irritating noises. How can you be irritated by laughter unless it's a very irritating laugh? I don't know, like a hyena being castrated or something. But, but even then, it's like someone's happy. I'm happy that they're happy, you know? And it'd have to be incredibly funny for that laughter to be so sustained and lengthy that you'd get annoyed by it. A laugh is usually like, quite short, isn't it? Unless Agent X-Force, I was so amusing, whatever I happened to blurt out, that you laughed for like a full minute. If you think about it, laughing for a full minute, that is an achievement, really. That is an achievement. Usually it's just like a 3 or 4 second, not even that, like shudder, isn't it? Like, I can't even do a fake laugh. Arlene made me laugh with the limerick, but that might be 0.8 seconds. No offense, Arlene, that's not a reflection on your comedic ability, because you are very funny. I'm just making the point that laughs tend to be quite short in time. It's a 0.8 seconds laugh on a train, no problem. It's like, oh, someone laughed. I wasn't expecting that, but it was an expression of happiness, so I'll let it slide. But 20 minutes Seinfeld, no. 20-minute conversation to grandma about where you are, no. It's 20 minutes, not 0.8 seconds. That was fun, wasn't it? I like your answer to my last question. Very well reasoned. Yes, green and yellow are not good together. I think that the reasoning, that the explanation of the reasonable adjustments, I hope, was the sensible part. That yes, the green and yellow not going together was the silly part, but honest part. I just don't like those colours in combination, as I've already said, and I don't know why. But there we are. I've said it. Gordon, you're back. I'm still here rambling my nonsense. I'll be here for another half an hour or so, just to let you know. And I'll rummage around the cupboards to see what food is in the house, because I'm a bad dad and I've not been to the supermarket. So no doubt it'll be frozen badness for tea. And my kids will frown at me like they normally do. They're teenagers, classic teenage expression, but the frown will be even deeper because I'll be heating up some frozen rubbish. But this is more important than buying nutritious ingredients for dinner for my kids. I've said it out loud. I'm sorry. Call social services. I know. It's dreadful. Dreadful confession. Had a coffee and stuff. It wasn't a very long pee. Gordon, I'm glad to have been given an estimate of how long your pee was. I mean, I've spent about 10 minutes talking about estimated laughter time, so I think we're on the same page there. Gigi's here. Hello. Good to see you. Just like my daughter was visiting. Yeah, I mean, maybe what you could do, because if you are late, you could play this live stream recording loudly on a train and get your own back and all those other people. And they might learn something about autism as well, which probably irritate them as well. I don't want to learn about autism. It doesn't apply to me. Yeah. I know. If you do try that, let me know how you get on. Who is this monotone, monologuing person talking about autism? I don't want to hear it on the train. I don't want to hear it at all. That's why I'm not logged on now. Fair enough. Gordon, I'm back at home now. I've been getting kicked out of the house. Now I'm home. Comment properly. My wife hates me, so my husband. Oh God, Gordon, that's not good at all. That is not good at all, my man. That's a bit of a bombshell for us. I'm speaking on behalf of everyone else. Well, I hope you're okay, mate. And I hope that state of affairs doesn't last much longer. I hope it's sorted out. Yeah. Well, welcome back, but yeah, I hope things get better. Crikey. Um, right, let's pick up the mood if you don't mind me saying, Gordon. Um, well, yeah, safe space, I'd say share. You already have shared. Share what you want. Um, but if I may awkwardly relate to that, um, one reason why I do live streams is because things aren't perfect in my own life. So I connect with this wonderful bunch of people, yourself included. So I don't know if that's a consolation or I'm just making it about me again, but by definition, live stream is about sharing, and if you guys aren't here, live streams don't work, don't happen. So I'm sorry to hear that, but you know where we are. Cool. Um, some people don't understand complex vocabulary will often see it as being pretentious. Yeah, I think story of my life, Layla. Those simpletons. God, get a dictionary. Goodness sake, man. Learn some words. Then you'll be on my wavelength. I think that's probably what they're thinking when I'm using these wonderfully. What are the words? I don't know. I don't know. Being consistently misunderstood feels awful. Yes, correct. Being consistently misunderstood is my autistic experience until I do live streams and read the wonderful comments, the hundreds of wonderful comments from people praising my abilities. Um, when I'm not doing one of those two things, I'm being misunderstood all the time, and it's draining, um, and it feels awful. And my self-esteem is, believe it or not, because I'm so witty and engaging in these live streams, and you think, how could this wonderfully confident guy have such low self-esteem? Yeah, I'm talking at my laptop. Do remember that. Do keep up. I'm talking to myself, although I know I'm not talking to you guys. Um, it's a different dynamic to being in the real world where it's just too fast and too full of lies and expectations that I'm not even aware of and rules. It's just a mess. And because I don't understand it and people don't understand me, I'm destined to feel pretty low about myself because I've been made out to be the problem for so long in my life. And now I know that actually I'm not the problem. I'm just different. And I know I'm not the problem because I hear people say very similar things to what I have said today, and they have very similar feelings that I have, similar experiences. So I know I'm not a problem. I'm just autistic, trying my best, and I dare say so are you. So, but after 40 odd years of not knowing that I'm autistic and 40 odd years of being misunderstood, you can't undo that accumulative effect of feeling like you're the problem. You just can't undo it. But I'm working on it, and I'm determined that the time I have left, I'm gonna have fun, do as much as I can to make autistic people's lives easier. And a lot of that's going to be knowledge based. People don't know about autism, they're not going to know about making people's lives easier. And I'm one of many people with the same mission, but it's a collective effort, just like beating the fascists. It's not going to be one person sorts it out, it's going to be collective. And it's more satisfying when good things happen because it's a collective. And that sounds horribly worthy, even for me, but I've said it and I'm standing by it. So, yeah. And it's quite ironic, really, like an autistic person speaking up for the collective. Because normally, when I'm in a group of people, I'm like, yeah, yes, people, yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm so used to living up inside my own head. I'm like, I'm a member of the people who struggle to get on with other people party. And yet, I love humanity at the same time. I think Bill Hicks said something like this. Said, I love humanity, but I hate people. I mean, that's obviously a joke. I don't hate people. Um, but as an autistic person, I do struggle to say the right thing, do the right thing, keep up the conversation, ask the right questions. I've said it already. That was fun as well, wasn't it? Just went off on one about, I don't know, can't remember now. ADHD. Who are you? What's this? Who am I? I don't know. Um, Kids eat tell my life it's a bad place to. It's hard to communicate. It was hard to start with. That's part of the reason oh, crikey. Well, yeah, communication is. I know this is the most lame, obvious thing to say, but obviously communication in all circumstances is fundamental, and I hope, Gordon, it gets better. Perhaps I ought not to read out every comment. So yeah, sticking to my own advice. Well, that was a more funny comment about seeing that couple on the train. Yeah. Whoops. Lady, you've been told you cackle like a witch. As far as laughs go, it's more unique. Yeah. Well, we've all got a unique laugh, I suppose. Don't even know what my laugh sounds like. It sounds like a laugh. I don't know why I'm over-analysing my laugh. I mean, a cackle. It's not a cackle. It's more like, a mumble? I don't know. What am I talking about? A cackle. Yeah, you do you. Great. Just don't make it 60 seconds long. That's a long cackle, isn't it? But then why not? If something's that funny that you laugh for a minute, a full minute, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Laughing for a full minute. Cool. Let me know if you have done that or are aiming to do that. Well, you can't aim to do it. You can't say to yourself, I am going to laugh for 60 seconds. You can't do it voluntarily. Something momentously funny has to happen. So that's the point about a laugh, isn't it? It's involuntary. And yet, autistic people don't like unexpected things. We like predictability, but we like jokes as well. The power of a joke is in its unpredictability, no? If you know the punchline, you ain't going to laugh. Am I overanalyzing jokes? Am I being a bit too meta? I don't know. Trying to rant on your last meeting with your super actually not interested. Okay, 20 rant on your last. I'm not quite sure what you mean there. Sorry, I lost the context. Harry, let's go and put another coat of paint on the bathroom ceiling. That's how long I ramble on. People have redecorated their whole house. They've moved house. They've been to the estate agent, looked through the glossy brochure or website because it's 2025. They've been to see the houses that they're interested in. They've signed the documents. They've set up the mortgage. They've moved in, and I'm still doing this. What can I say? What can I say? I can say a lot, which is why this is so long. Blimey. I just saw the word salad with falafel, which is making me think of tea, which is going to be a lot better than the tea that I'm going to heat up. Autistic Margot's here. Hello. Margot, I'm going to be here for another 20 odd minutes, but thank you for joining us. What usually happens with these things, or has happened, I say usually, exaggeration, twice, Autistic Jenny has turned up just as I'm saying goodbye, and I felt really bad. And I'm probably jinxing it, and she's going to do that again. Be like, no, Autistic Jenny, I have to go. I've got family to feed. Hello, goodbye. So, Margot, hello. Thank you, Mark. I am funny as flip. Thank you. I'll take that. I'll put that on my poetry poster. Come see me, read poetry. I'm funny as flip. Gordon, that's why I'm here. Good to you. Yeah, I hope this is helpful, distracting in any way. Um, being consistently misunderstood. Yeah, I think Arlene's spoken for a lot of us there. Autistic long-term experiences, yeah, being consistently misunderstood. But it's not our fault, as we know deep down. It's just a double empathy, different wavelengths. By definition, we're autistic. Our brains are wired differently. We're not going to be in the same wavelength as neurotypical people. It's going to be a struggle. Born that way. It's not our fault. We didn't say, oh, I'd like to have an autistic brain, which would make it more of a challenge to communicate with the neurotypical majority. We had no say in that. We're just here with our autistic brains, communicating as best we can. If anything, we should be praised for making more of an effort. But are we praised? That was a rhetorical question. Aren't rhetorical questions great? And that was a joke. Feel free to line up your laughing emojis now. I'll just sit back, wait for the time delay. No? Okay. Difficult crowd tonight or this afternoon. Yeah, a couple of little flurry there. Like lazy bees wafting towards the ceiling. A bit of poetry there as well. Jokes, poetry, monologues. I'm laying it all out here. Just difficult crowd, blimey. Come on now, come on now. Mel, you inspire people. Well, you have me speak about autism. I really like your content. Fantastic. That was a really flippant way of acknowledging what were lovely and are lovely comments. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, if I've inspired one person, aka you, to talk about autism, then I've won the lottery. That means everything to me. Um, so fantastic. Thank you. Because if we're not talking about it, we're not advocating for ourselves, then nothing changes. We're just put in our autistic box, aren't we? With all the old unhelpful stereotypes. And that is just not on in these days. It never was on, but there's really no excuse to just marginalize us and say, oh, well, you're this set of deficits. So, well, I'm actually going to speak up about autism and share my autistic experience, and with the end goal being that you will be more educated and be more empathetic towards me as an autistic person and other autistic people, because autistic people aren't the ones struggling with empathy, in my experience, anyway. Double empathy problem. Communication and empathy is a two-way street. So why are you blaming the autistic people all the time? It's not fair. Because we're in a minority. And as we started off with this live stream, it's easy to blame minorities, isn't it? When you don't have the willingness to think things through or willingness to see things from that other person's point of view. Just mistreat the minority because it makes your life easier. Oh, cheers for that. Unbelievable. Jeremy Andrew Davies has a great short, and Entity's Misunderstanding. Cool. Thank you, Kate. Jeremy Andrew Davies. I will add to my sprawling list of videos and articles to look at. Definitely we all need to be in it. Yep, agree with that. In the autism advocacy game, if we have the spoons to do so, not an expression I normally use, but if we have the energy to do what we can to speak up about autism, then great. If you do not, and you're just trying to survive, I completely get that as well. Doing the YouTube thing, as an example, is certainly not for everyone. And like I said, I'm a very moody person. Some weeks Some days I just don't want to get out of bed, let alone switch on my laptop and talk about anything. So yeah, if you have the energy to advocate for yourself and other autistic people, then go for it, I say. Okay, let me see if I link here so you can copy the link to watch later if you're interested. If you got any links, I can take those links. If that was meant for me, yeah, add stuff. Good links, though. I'm assuming it's a good link. If you want to click on something and... Why am I saying this out loud? You'd only share good stuff, wouldn't you? Very true about collectives. Yeah, I was on my pedestal there. But yeah, and I think it needs to be said. I know we're part of the same church here, preaching to the converted, but sometimes the things that are obvious to us need to be said out loud. Because never assume, I suppose, that people do know what I've just said are obvious things. Like, if good things are going to happen, it's going to be a collective effort. I think some people actually think, no, it's all down to individuals, and that's the problem, isn't it? It's like, oh, if you want to, things are going to be good in this world, it's all down to you, number one, which is the really right-wing perspective on things, isn't it? In fact, I've got a great book. I'm going to be really pretentious now. Now, where is it? Arlene, you're like, this is Malcolm Gladwell, Canadian intellectual. Here it is. One of the few books that I've read in the last few years. I'm really struggled with reading, as I've said before. But basically, it's a really, really interesting book. I don't know how I got into reading it because, like I say, I struggled with reading. But I remember it being quite an easy read for a non-fiction, like intellectual book. Anyway, let's just mention Vancouver there. Vancouver, I think it's a hockey team. Anyway, the point that I think that the thrust of it is, not really a spoiler, is that you know, people working together achieve good things, and society is fundamental. Society is a group effort, and if you pin your success in life on you as an individual, you are in denial, my friend. You're telling self-satisfying lies to yourself because you ain't all that. You've relied on other people to get to where you are. So don't believe this nonsense that it's dog eat dog and everyone in it for themselves. And if I try my best, I will succeed in life. You rely on people all the time. We all do. You know, who made this laptop? Who made this funky jumper? Who made these good looks? It's other people. I can't take all the credit. I could lie to myself and say I'm massively successful due to my own endeavors. But I'm autistic. I like the truth. So read the book if you've got the time and energy and inclination. Malcolm Gladwell. Eileen, I'm with you on the collective. Ironing contradictions included. Yeah. And Eileen, I just want to say how much I appreciate you saying that in at least one recent video, maybe a couple, talking about the threats that we currently face and how we need to stick together to face those threats. So I appreciate listening to you talking about that because I've already said a few times today, it's I might know it anyway, but I need to hear it from other people to really feel it, Otherwise, I just think I'm going mad with these, what I consider to be common sense thoughts about the world when they don't seem so common because I'm not hearing them from other people. Where I watched the video by Arlene, Autism Spectrum, and I'm like, phew, it's not just me. People believe that we Gotta love each other. That's not just a John Lennon song. It's just common sense survival. I needed to hear that from someone else. Arlene said it. Phew, I'm not going insane. So yeah, appreciate it. Um, so yeah, I'm going to wrap up shortly, people. You'll be pleased or devastated to know you're just getting into it. You got your popcorn, um, or you're on the train on block out noise with my mumblings. Um, yeah, better get down to my falling apart kitchen in about 15 minutes to heat up those frozen vegetarian sausage rolls. So appetizing when I say it like that, isn't it? Um, what forgot it? My train arrived 2 minutes early. How unusual. Well, it isn't if you're in the UK. I'm just grateful that the train arrives on the same day that I need the train in the UK. Bloody rubbish, the train system. Grateful that I don't need to book a Premier Inn. I think you've got proud to say yeah, I've got white balsamic in there. I've lost the context because I'm trying to do two things at once. But Anik, that sounds great. 3 servings in the pot. I love putting later food in the freezer. Um, yeah, grand. Sounds like a plan. I like a plan. I'm autistic. My ridiculous government has been so stressed. I decided I will show them my date, play baseball, write poems. Oh, I'm sure to pay taxes. I've been advocating acceptance, especially at work. Brilliant. Well done, Mark. I think you're in Colorado. Might have made that up. Well done. Yeah, you got to pay those taxes. You know, those bombs aren't going to pay for themselves, are they? So yeah, got to make sure that they've got the money to build the bombs, so we can ensure that Palestinian children lose their limbs, because it's not going to happen. You know, automatically. We've got to pay our taxes to enable it to happen. If that humour is too bleak, then I will accept your honesty about that. Joking aside, um, yeah, show the awful powers that be that we can play sport. I mean, I said play baseball. It sounds odd to me. I'm in England. We don't play baseball. We play cricket. Far more civilized. Yeah, play organized fun. Do organized fun sports, aka. God, that was horrifically structured attempt at a joke. I do apologize. Write poetry, play sport, do fun things, and show the powers that be that we are just normal human beings, and pay your taxes if you are able to work. And if you're not able to work, then you're not able to work. Your value is not based on your productivity, which is a slightly hypocritical thing for me to say because I do endlessly judge myself on my own ability or not to be productive. Like get up, throw a dart at Margaret Thatcher's face, and say, right, what am I going to achieve today? Is it going to be a YouTube video? Is it going to be a poem? Is it going to be going for a run or whatever, or a combination of those things? I always have to like, this is the ADHD part of my brain saying, right, you've got to do something, got to be productive. So I'm a massive hypocrite when I criticize RFK Jr. and others for talking about taxes and the value that should be stored in people. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite, but I'm not. The difference being that I'm not an evil right-wing politician in charge of the most powerful country in the world. That's the difference. Yeah, in case that needed to be spelt out. Yeah, just if you're in any doubt, I'm not an evil right-wing politician from the US. Just in case you thought I was. Oren's here. Oren, I've been here this long that you've finished your working day, and now I'm still blathering on. Oh, it's your lunch break. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I'm still here, but only for another 10 minutes. Sorry, but you know, if you really want to, watch the recording, but I don't expect one person to do that. I mean, people say that they're going to watch these the recordings of the live streams, which is just great if you want to, but you know, kind of for me, it's like an in the moment thing. But yeah, if I said to Carolyn in the US, um, watch the recording, but do something productive at the same time. See, I'm being a hypocrite. Yeah, do something useful and have me in the background. Um, and the reason I said that is because people say that they have done that. They've been making their dinner or whatever, and the live stream's been playing in the background, which makes more sense to me because it's 2.5 hours. Watching a recording for 2.5 hours, that's not more than a film. Why would you do that? Watch a film. But if you want to watch the recording, I'm clearly not in a position to stop you. And I wouldn't try. But just amazed that you would want to listen. I'm amazed that you're here in the first place. I think yes, and Malcolm Gladwell, Tipping Point was the first bit that got me. Relatable non-fiction writer for sure. Yeah, he's really just writes so well. It's really engaging. I remember reading an article about sort of the techniques that Gladwell uses to make people want to read like non-fiction, like heavy concepts, and that he uses like these novelistic, is that a word? Novelistic techniques. It's like he uses anecdotes. I think that's the thing, that anecdotes to illustrate deep and meaningful points. So it's not abstract and academic. It's like grounded in sort of real experience. And he just does it so well. Certainly in that book, I've not read Tipping Point, and it's one that I keep meaning to read, but many books that I keep meaning to read, and they're just there to make me look clever. But yeah. Kay and Anika sharing culinary tips. That's great. Carry on. But you only got a few more minutes because I'm going to go. Yummy. So I'd already eaten back on the chat. See, this is how long I blather on. Yeah, you carry on. Oh, there's the chat gone. We got talk about banana bread there, and Kitty telling Margot, be worthy of respect, even you are unable to do these things just because you're a human being. Amen to that. Thank you, Kitty. But yeah, hear you on the stress it's causing. Yeah, it's bound to be stressful. And only yesterday, the leader, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, the potential future Prime Minister of the UK, Nigel Hunt, said yesterday that he wants people to get rid of diversity officers and climate change projects and basically things that are needed to make life worth living. He wants to get rid of. This is where we're at in the UK. So it's pretty horrendous in the US right now, but it's filtering over to the UK, if that's any consolation. But banana bread, OMG, that's what we've got to hold on to. The sweep of fascism, but there's still banana bread in the world. So, how you frame your thinking, really, I suppose, is the constant battle that I have. It's like, we're going to dwell on the bad stuff, or we're going to daydream about banana bread. And again, that wasn't on my Sunday bingo card, but I've said it. I just like the alliteration as well. Banana bread. Sounds good. Tastes good. Looks good. Everyone give it up for banana bread. Doing great things, banana bread. Sausage roll rather than popcorn, actually. Oh, you're having a sausage roll. Actually, yeah, we're gonna have a veggie version, which has been frozen for probably way too long. Can it be frozen for too long? When does it stop becoming edible? these are the sort of questions that keep me awake at night and make my live streams less interesting. Sorry. I shall try to remember the thing I was trying to. I shall try to remember the thing I was sharing with my second cousin yesterday, and I shall ask more questions to myself about frozen sausage rolls, because that's my brain, my autistic brain. That's because you haven't been sarcastic. The persecution is ridiculous. Yeah, sarcasm underrated. Oren, you work in a hospital? I didn't actually know that, Oren, you work in a hospital. No humour is too bleak. Yeah, you got a bit of the gallows humour in a hospital, surely. Otherwise, would be even more bleak. Yeah. Oh, you. I could not work in a hospital. I'm surrounded by illness and injury. I'd really struggle with that. So I salute you, Oren. Does anyone outside of Great Britain actually understand cricket? Yeah. Loads of countries. India, Bangladesh, New Zealand, Australia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, the collective countries West Indies, Ireland. I think that's like global cricket. Yeah, I see your point there. I do actually like baseball, to be fair. I saw a game in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I was very skeptical because I watched it on telly, and I was like, "What's going on here? It's not rounders. It's more complicated than rounders." Um, Went to see this match, that second division match, Erie Seawolves against someone, and it was brilliant. Not enough home runs though. I was expecting like every second hit to be a home run. Actually, yeah, because it's really hard to whack that ball outside of the ground, pitch, whatever you call it. I was like, not enough home runs, but the just all the variables and it's quite exciting. Although they did try to make it more exciting by randomly shooting flames into the air, not the players themselves, but am I making that up? I think they do it like really professional, like top level games. But there were like these weird sort of segments of entertainment, like cheerleaders would come on, like I do have the attention span just to watch the game. But yeah, it was like, oh right, momentary pause, because all pauses are momentary, are they? No, they're not. You can have a very long pause, can't you? Um, And anyway, what am I trying to say? There was enough going on in the game. I didn't need to be bombarded with flames that I might have made up and cheerleaders, just and mascots. Just let the game happen. I think we're getting the flames from cricket matches. Actually, saw a cricket match where I am. I'm pointing because it was in that direction behind the bookcase, and there wasn't a lot of room. It's quite small behind the bookcase. That was a terrible joke. I'm going to move on from that. Pretend I never made the joke in the first place. And the flames were at the cricket match, and it was ridiculously incongruous. And you can see why people think I'm pretentious and bonkers, because that was just even random for me. But yeah, flames at a sports match. No, flames in a war setting. Yes. So, or we do understand cricket, or people do understand cricket outside of the UK, but maybe they should spend more time understanding baseball because it's really interesting, but it doesn't need all the nonsense that goes with it, he says, having indulged in yet more nonsense. I feel like the hospital attracts us neurodivergent folks. Maybe so. So I'm hearing footsteps. I think I might be being asked to feed people. So give me 5 minutes. I keep saying that, but I will go. Because my throat's about to close up, and then you'll just see me miming like a goldfish. And no one wants to see me be a goldfish. If you do, then I will bear that in mind for the next live stream, and I will be a gold demand. If that's the content that you want, I am prepared to entertain the idea. or that might be as far as it goes. It might remain an idea, an embarrassing suggestion that you made, and then no one will ever talk about it again. It'll be like a family secret, something in the closet. I don't know. I'm going insane. Probably need food. The minimal nutrition that I'm going to get from that frozen vegetarian sausage roll to re-energize my brain. There's probably more brain cells in that vegetarian sausage roll than me at the moment. The pharmacy, many ND co-workers, yeah. I can barely form a sentence, but I'm just wondering why there might be such a concentration of neurodivergent people in medical settings. I don't know. I would say people in India are huge fans of cricket for some reason. Cricket's massive in India. Um, I don't know if that's a legacy of empire. I don't know. I don't know whether the British imported cricket to India or whether it was already popular. Again, something I should really read about because it's such an urgent piece of information. Scott, I'm currently laying slate flooring listing in. That is brilliant. That's really useful by the sounds of it. I am definitely appropriate background noise for slate flooring. That should be the strapline on my poster, my imaginary poster. Appropriate noise for slate flooring. Yeah, the crowds will rush in to listen to that. Well done, Scott. Okay, there's this movie about it that I love. I don't know what it is, and I'm running out of time to find out what it is. Mark, do you have any idea how refreshingly funny one? I have no idea because I'm talking in my study because I'm pretentious, I have a study, and I can't hear your very loud laughter. So it's a bit of an odd one because I'm just talking my nonsense and hoping for the best, really. But I'll take the praise, and interestingly, in the form of a question mark. Because no, I have no idea, but I'll assume that that is a way of saying a nice thing. So cheers. Or I'm a PT in the ICU. Sounds like a rap. I'm a PT in the ICU. We also have a lot of ND. That sounds like a rap as well. A lot of acronyms there, Oren. Physiotherapist in the intensive care unit. We also have a lot of neurodivergence. I think I've got that right. Okay, thank you for seconding Mark's motion there. Carried. Well done. Layla, I think a lot of the late diagnosed autistic tend to. I'm going to go very, very quickly. I shall wrap up shortly. Oh, come on. Oh, it's gone now. So many great comments. I think a lot of late diagnosed autistic people are, I had to read that slate, are hard on. Childish sniggering in the back of the class there. Are hard on themselves. Gotcha, Layla. Right. Narrow escape there. It's what life taught us. It's hard to untrain your brain. Yes, indeed. That's a good way of putting it. Untraining your brain. Reversing the mindset of I'm the weirdo to I'm not the weirdo. I'm just autistic. Why people are hating on me? I'm just different. Yeah, that's difficult to reverse after, in my case anyway, decades of feeling like I'm the oddball. I don't know. Not. Well, I'm just different. You know? But you've made me feel that because I'm different, I'm bad, and I'm not bad. Oren, yeah, India and GP with the cricket. Yeah, definitely. I've probably missed a really successful cricket nation. Anyway, ICU, I know, intensive care unit. Blimey. I salute you. Wow. Um, Nature in the Netherlands, it's also on a backslide to the aggressive and conservative, yeah. Well, it seems to me like France is the only one thing. France is the only exception. Oh, my back. Um, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm going to wrap up very soon anyway. Um, can you hear me now? Can I get a thumbs up? Then I'll say a proper goodbye. I was just waffling on about France and how it seems to be the only country that isn't backsliding into conservatism and right-wing nonsense. Um, so yeah, let me catch up in the comments. Yeah, sorry about that. No idea what was going on there. So yeah, let me get through to the end. I'm sorry that I am missing out comments. Time's going to, or you're, yeah, I'm gonna have to go. Banana Republic bread is not recommended. Why didn't I think of that gag? Something to do with Banana Republic bread. Eileen's on fire today. Neil for PM. No, I couldn't. I find being on the council stressful enough. I couldn't be in national politics. No way. Skin not thick enough. No way. People say, "Oh yeah, you should be a member of parliament." Yeah, I'm actually. This is a bit of a brag, a humble brag. I'm eligible to be the mayor of the city that I live in. No way, not happening. You imagine me as the mayor? No, I can't tie my shoelaces. So, and this is what I say to people when they say, "Oh, yeah, you've been doing the job for 13 years. You're entitled. You're seniority." I'm like, no. Firstly, I can't tie my shoelaces. Secondly, the idea is stressing me out. I'm autistic. I struggle anyway. Imagine being the mayor and all the expectations that go along with that. No, I'm a perennial backbencher. He says, as someone with a YouTube channel, that he wants to be successful. Yeah, but this is different. This is fun times, you know. As stressful as all the nonsense is with politicians and what they've been saying about autistic people, generally, the YouTube, the live streams, fun times. That's. I don't mind publicity with that, but politics is the administration of life. It's admin. Politics is admin. That's what it should be anyway. It should be boring. It is boring until fascists come along and make it unnecessarily exciting, which is why the media focus on them all the time. Oh, right, I'm gonna have to shut up now. Odd coincidence, cricket have spread to the extent of the British Empire. Yeah, well, it must be legacy of empire, yeah. Why is cricket popular in Australia and India? Discuss. West Indies. Um, You can have a pregnant pause, last 9 months. You can indeed. I don't know why I was saying they're all short-lived, because clearly you can have a very long pause. Um, Usually between when I tell a joke and when people start a conversation. Oh, Moosey's here, but Moosey, I'm gonna have to go. Sorry. I remember there's actually an archaic unit of time of about a minute and a half. Is that right? Wow. Let me take a moment to process that. But I haven't got a minute. I haven't got a minute and a half because I've got to go, and I can't even say a minute and a half without stumbling over the words. Uh, Here we are. Points behind the bookcase made me laugh out loud. Well, fine. I thought it was appalling, but Arlene, cheers. That's a little boost to the self-esteem. It won't be enough to negate 40 years of trauma, but I'll take the praise. Cheers, Arlene. I've seen a music group that shot flames out of guitars and bagpipe. Blimey, they sound hot. Christ, I need to go. Or I'd vote for Neil. Cool. Come to England. Actually, don't. because you wouldn't want to experience our problems. Or maybe you would, I don't know. Kitty in the garden, you're competing with Arlene for being the funniest person in the chat. That would be awful. Sorry, I was about 4 minutes behind.